The sun came up this morning. Is that an amazing thing? You were probably asleep, unfortunately, which we got to work on. Good. Yosef was awake. We need to work on that because the first thing it says in the Shulchan Aruch is, get up like a lion before sunrise. You're not there yet? But anyway, the sun came up this morning. Is that a phenomenal, amazing thing? On your way walking to yeshiva, did you stop for a moment to listen to the birds? Did you stop and just breathe deeply and be like, wow, Jerusalem, birds? Did you look up at the blue sky? Amazing sky. Did you stop and notice that growing out of some of the Jerusalem stone are little flowers, little purple flowers? Where are their roots, by the way? You know the plants growing out of the kotel? Where are their roots? They're in a wall. Did you stop at all yesterday and just notice your hands? Wow, that's unbelievable. There's so much I can do with these complex, amazing, perfectly designed, amazing tools. Play the piano, paint, shake someone's hand. So much. Did you stop for a second before you ate your eggs for breakfast and be like, an egg? That's crazy. Where does an egg come from? How did it develop? In a chicken. Did you have an apple today? Anyone had an apple for breakfast? Apple for breakfast. Before you ate your apple and before you even said your blessing, did you just stare in wonder at this miracle of creation? An apple is the most psychedelic, psychotic, unbelievable thing. Do you know where apples come from? Trees. How does an apple come from a tree? A tree is just a big piece of wood. How do you get a big piece of wood to produce an apple? Where do trees come from? Seeds. Now, I've said this 4,000 times, but I'm going to say it 4,001 times because you need to hear this. A seed with a bit of water, minerals and sunlight. How do you get water, minerals and sunlight and turn a seed into a huge wooden tree?
Photosynthesis, Rabbi.
Photosynthesis is psychedelic. That's crazy. How does a tree suck in carbon dioxide, by the way, which helps us a lot? If we cut down all the trees in the world, that would be really bad. A tree sucks in carbon dioxide, sunlight and water, and that turns into sugar to feed the tree. And then what does the tree do? It bursts out oxygen. That's unbelievable. You know, isn't that unbelievable? Seed in ground, rots, then grows, sprouts. Little sprout, roots going down. You know, trees can communicate with each other through the fungal system. There's a whole underground. Trees can warn each other about danger and droughts, and there's a whole world going on down there. Communication. There are more trees than the observable universe, than stars in the observable universe. More trees on Earth than stars in our galaxy. 7 times more trees. Some trillion trees and some billion stars. Trees are miraculous. And even, I know, give me your scientific, I understand. Photosynthesis and enzymes and it builds it, but that itself is miraculous. How? Why would that work? So did you stop on your way here and look at a tree and just have a psychedelic experience? Were you just, your mind was blown? It was like, I just can't believe what I'm looking at right now. Before you ate your apple, you're like, juicy, fleshy, with a skin around it to protect it. And the skin is colourful, by the way. The skin is green or red, which is attractive. The inside doesn't need to be attractive. So that's why it doesn't need a colour. But then mangoes. Pineapples. It takes pineapples 2 years to grow. I lived in a village in Thailand called Nong Pao Tan, which means the home of the coal makers. And do you know what they did there?
Coal.
They grew pineapples. But I believe several generations ago they made coal. But now they grow pineapple. Take 2 years. A pineapple grows in the ground, by the way. Bere priya adama, on a pineapple. Pineapples don't grow on trees. Pineapples grow in the ground. Little flower. Pineapple. Pineapple. A big, juicy, nutritious, tasty thing. That's unbelievable. The sun. Do you know how far away the sun is? Do you know how far away the sun is?
100 million miles. Light years. No, it's not light years.
It's not light years. I'll tell you what. How long would it take to fly on a Boeing 747 to the sun? At a normal pace, it takes whatever. It takes 9 hours to New York. How long would it take to fly to the sun?
The sun is
19 years. It would take 19 years. Some of you aren't even 19 years old yet. It would take 19 years to fly to the sun. However, that thing, which is 19 years away, can warm up your face. What's the biggest bonfire you've ever been to? Think back. You were on the beach, Thailand, whatever it was. You went to a bonfire. When you walk away from the bonfire, once you're 20 meters away, doesn't matter how big the bonfire is really. Maybe if it's really big, 30 meters. At some point, 40 meters away, you're not feeling any heat from that. You can get burned from a thing that is 19 years flight away. It's giving all the light. If the sun was any hotter, we'd all die. If it was any colder, we'd all freeze. If it was any closer, we'd die. Further away, die. If the earth was spinning a little bit slower, we'd we'd get sucked into the sun. If it was spinning a little bit faster, we'd shoot out into space. Little degree faster, degree slower, shoot out, bam. If the force of gravity was a tiny bit less, fly away. Tiny bit more, sucked in. Perfectly fine-tuned, unbelievable universe. Our world. There's this whole thing about a beaver. It's in a book. How a beaver makes a dam. And its teeth are perfectly created, and it knows exactly what part of the tree to bite, how many inches up the tree it needs to bite to get the tree to fall exactly where it needs to fall to make the dam, and it's got the breathing apparatus to be able to stay underwater in this little thing. That's unbelievable. And it all's working in harmony. We need everything to work in harmony. I need the trees to do what they're doing, and then the animals. Do you know cows kill more people a year than sharks? It's just an interesting bit of information. Sharks kill 4 people a year. Cows kill 22 people a year. Charge them in groups. Spent some time researching amazing things about the world. Unbelievable. Every liquid, when it freezes, what happens? Does it get lighter or heavier? Sinks. It gets heavier. Every liquid, when it freezes, it gets heavier, it sinks, apart from one. What? Which is the one that doesn't? Water. Man. Water. Just, that doesn't. Why? Because if it did, then everything would just be frozen. That would be it, really. So water floats so that we can have seas and oceans and rivers. And there's enough salt in the sea for what there needs to be. If there's too much salt, then you get the Dead Sea. Doesn't work. So how often do you just stop and appreciate the wonders of nature? The wonders of life, the wonders of the world, should be every time you eat an apple at least. Every time you eat an apple. See the sky, rivers, mountain. So some people, I need to see the Grand Canyon. Wow! The Grand Canyon! Unbelievable! The Sahara Desert! Annapurna mountain range. But for some people, they just need to see a flower. Ooh, there's a flower. Look at that flower. Amazing. Smells nice. Looks nice. Thorns. Protect it. Do you have stinging nettles in America? Stinging nettles. They're little plants and you touch them, they sting. Unless you grab them tight. Anyway, so they're in lots of parks in England. We have stinging nettles. See, if your ball goes into the stinging nettles, it's a big problem. You know? But next to stinging nettles, do you know what there are? Dock leaves. We call them dock leaves. I don't know the scientific name. Dock leaves, if you get them and you rub them on the stinging nettle thing, makes it not hurt anymore. They grow next to them. No one planted them there. Well, no human. So for most people, they're relying on something big. Bungee jumping! Skydiving! Otherwise they're just walking around in some kind of, there we go, wasted! We did it! Normal, boring, mediocre life until something crazy. Oh, I saw an amazing movie. We went out last night. Some people are walking around just like eyelids. If you didn't have eyelids, you'd have to keep dropping stuff in your eye all day. It would be, you'd have to have some system which you'd wear over your eyes, which you just put in, like clean them somehow, and put in, and the eyelashes, of course, because that stops the dust and stuff. So you'd have to have this whole intricate system just to keep your eyes okay. But you have eyelids. When was the last time you appreciated your eyelids? Oh, what do you mean? They're just on my face. Idiot. Spending all day looking at yourself in the mirror, perfect squats, ripped. Don't take 1 second to, my eyelashes. Cheshbon Hanefesh. Number 23. We're going through 30 things that you should consider every day. And we're on number 23. For those of you who came late, you can see them all on the Living in Tune YouTube channel. They are uploading there as we speak. So you go back to session 1. But we're on number 23. It says this. הבחינה בכל מה שיש בעולם מקטני הבריות וגדוליהם. You should contemplate. What does contemplate mean? How do you say contemplate in Hebrew? A very, very beautiful Jewish word, a type of Jewish meditation. Hitbonenut. Hitbonenut. Hitbonenut means to contemplate, to build. It comes from the word bonet, to build an idea. Not hitbonenut, which means to seclude yourself. Hitbonenut, to contemplate. And he uses the word bechin as well. Do you know what bechin? Lavchin. Lavchin means to discern. We say every morning, lahavchin ben yom ben laila. That we should be able to. An exam, a test in school is called a bechina. You get tested on something, it's like, are you discerning? Are you a discerning human being? Well, when it comes to your football team and your women, it's like, yeah, she's you're very discerning all of a sudden. Yeah, she is. Oh. When you're in the gym, it's like, oh, my V. Oh, very good to my V. Are you discerning? Are you someone who's looking at the world through eyes of wonder? Wow. Cheshbon Hanefesh number 23. You have to do this every day. But not only that, from the biggest to the smallest creatures, rational creatures, and there's a hierarchy of creatures. There's a whole food chain. What was it? Was it in Yosemite National Park? They killed all the wolves because they were eating that, but once you killed the wolves, then the deer became too much and they ate all of that. And Yellowstone. So they basically wiped out a chain in the food chain that they thought would be good, and it just destroyed everything, and they had to reintroduce them into the wild. Everything's perfect. It's You have to breathe through your nose. Breathing through your nose gives you the space to stop running so fast, achieving and accomplishing and doing, and just become present and be like, wow. And what do you do when you do that? Firstly, that's just so you live in wonder. An atheist can do the same thing, I think. Just be like, wow, life's amazing. There's something atheists speak about, awe, scientific awe. They say, look, it's not God, but it is so awesome. See how all the stars work and the supernovas, and so atheist physicists can have a sense of awe. I saw a whole program about it. They just say, this is unbelievable. Not that God did anything, but we take it a step further and we say, oh my goodness, if trees are amazing, whoever created the trees, that's pretty cool. Can't even fathom what that is. Just sitting up there. Do you know how many different types of fish there are? Goodness. And bright colours, amazing. You've been to an aquarium. I love going to aquariums. I just walk around, it's amazing. And people say, yeah, but you've got to get stoned before you go to aquarium. It's much better. Like, you're so sad. It's so sad that you can't just enjoy life without getting stoned. What's wrong with you? No, we go to a party, I enjoy it, but when I'm stoned, I enjoy it so much more. What? Really? You can't just enjoy life. No, I need to smoke to enjoy life. Yeah, but Rabbi, who made the weed? That's a wonder of nature. I hear. I was smoking weed before you were in nappies, boys. But there's a way to tap into God consciousness, and weed actually ruins it. It takes away, because when you're not smoking the weed, you've now just damaged your God consciousness. It taps you into some very high, intense God consciousness for a bit, and you're like, whoa, dude. Whoa. Look at my hand, man. Awesome. But then when you come down, you're just a loser. Yes, please.
Is that like real when you're in that state? Like real
I think there is. You tap into a real state of consciousness, but you're damaging your natural ability to achieve that state of consciousness, through mindfulness and God.
Do you think that carries across to like nicotine and caffeine?
Less so, but I still don't think those are healthy things for you, but they don't adjust your consciousness to such a high degree and therefore damage it. But yes, I don't have nicotine or coffee either. I don't think that's good for you.
I guess my like more overarching question is, do you believe that philosophically you shouldn't be attached
Yes,
to
I do.
anything?
Correct.
Like,
Well, you should be attached to God. You should be attached to mitzvahs. You should be attached to your wife. You should be attached to your children, your friends, your students. Some traditions teach attachment causes suffering. Judaism says attachment is the key to enlightenment, as long as you're attaching to the right things. But yes, what you meant was reliance.
Yeah.
Yes, I believe you should not rely on things. You should rely on yourself and your soul. Because your soul doesn't rely on anything. Your soul just relies on God. So all these things you're relying on, that's called slavery. And we just spent the whole of Pesach getting out of slavery. So if it's like, man, don't talk to me till I've had my coffee in the morning. It's like, wow. Really? You can't just be a mensch without having your coffee? Okay, so you're feeling a bit tired. So what? I'm hangry. Yeah, hangry. I'm hungry, so I'm angry? Why? What's wrong with you? What are you, a 5-year-old? So you're hungry. You can still be a mensch if you're hungry. There's my 5-year-old kid, late at night, and he starts behaving really badly, and everyone says, yeah, he's tired. You also behave badly when you're tired. You're a 5-year-old kid. Why would you behave badly when you're tired? Anyway, we've gone off where we're going. So first thing, contemplate the wonders of nature. Second thing, then contemplate, hey, where did those wonders of nature come from? There's a divine, infinite, conscious, intelligent, loving creator of the universe. That's pretty cool. Then he says this. Va'al yashiacha rov rodcha otam v'orech regilatcha behem. Don't make it that because you see it all the time and it always happens, that you just get used to it. Don't make it azivat atama behem. Don't make the fact that you see it all the time make you lose your tameh, bitmia in the Gemara. Bitmia, what does that mean? Bitmia in the Gemara. Astonishment. That's a good word. Don't let the fact that it happens every day and you see it all the time and you expect it stop you being astonished. It's crazy all the time. Someone said nature is miracles you just got used to. You just got used to it. It's still a miracle every time. Just don't do that. Live new, be new every day like it's the first time you've seen it. Wow, there's an apple, I can't believe it. And it's hard, I know it's hard.
Yes, it's hard.
It's hard.
How do you suggest someone does that?
Breathe through your nose. Look at your apple and say, this is amazing. And you can even play it out. Where did this apple come from? How did that apple get in front of you, by the way? Do you know how many people were involved in getting that apple in front of you? Probably everyone on the face of the planet. Someone grew it, someone watered it, someone picked it. Whoever picked it was wearing shoes. Someone made that guy's shoes. Those shoes were made of rubber. Someone got that rubber from somewhere. Then it got in a truck. The truck came and brought it to the shop. Who made the cogs in the wheel of the truck? It's basically the whole planet had to get together for you to have that apple in front of you. So you have to take a moment to think about it. And so someone says to me, but once you do it every day, you put on tefillin every day, then you just get used to it. So I always say, well, I tell my daughter 50 times every day how much I love her, and I never get used to that. I never don't mean it. Why? Because I love her. So once you love life, once you love God, once you love your soul, once you love nature, once you're in love, then it's another apple. So, don't get old. Rabbi Nachman speaks about this a lot. You get old, I'm old. What does it mean to be old? It's got nothing to do with how many years you've been on the planet. It's to do with how you see the world. If it's, I've seen that before, it's alright. When you have a kid, he's like, Mazeh, what's that? And you're like, it's a bird. And then he's like, Mazeh. And you're like, it's a bird. And they're two completely different birds. He's like, no, that's a bird. That's not also a bird. And you're like, yeah, whatever. Kids, they see a dog, they're like, doggy, catty. When they're 4, they're like, they don't care anymore. They lost it. They're old now. You should be, and it will be a bit weird, but you know this happens sometimes when you get stoned, that you do look at dogs and you're like, wow, that's crazy. I love that. So you can't see the world new. So make sure you don't this. And so it is befitting for you, my brother, livchon b'chol ma shebara habarei yitbarach. It's very fitting for you to be discerning and think about all the wonderful things that Hashem created. Ma shahayita ragil bo, ma shelo hayita ragil bo. Things that you're used to seeing, things that you're not used to seeing. Ach habet lehem leishtadel behem ki'ilu lo ra'ita kemotem. You should try and see everything as if you've never really seen that before. It's just the first time you've seen it. It's like, wow. And yes, it's hard. It's called avoda. Avoda means work. To be a conscious human being takes some effort. Takes some work. Effortless effort. Cheshbon Hanefesh, number 23. Consider the wonders and beauty of nature and make sure that just because you're used to them, you haven't lost your wonder at the amazing, miraculous universe in which we live. Shabbos.